really cheap anyway.
Yeah.
So we can buy it internally as well. But as I say, I'll shop at lots of secondhand shops myself and buy online secondhand all the time. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I'd just like to say that you look very well on it.
Sorry?
I just to say you look very well.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
I mean, I didn't want to go down the road of saying you look glamorous because I didn't.
Okay. Okay. So
you can say that. That's cool.
No, it seems a bit,
okay. Well, all right. It's immediately raised a hand from Justin. So go on.
No, I was just coming back to the second-hand thing,
Yeah.
Mikey. I think this is a partnership you're doing with a local charity. Is that right?
That is right. Yes.
Can you tell me about that? Because I don't know the area.
Well, that is Natalie's local charity. So do you want to say a little bit about your charity?
Sure. So we're based just down here, a few doors down. Oh, sorry, based just down here at number 41. And basically the shop itself sells secondhand, pre-loved items, homeware, furniture, clothing items, toys, etc. And the money that we raise from that goes towards supporting people that are coming out of homelessness or crisis when they're transitioning into new properties. And we run a furniture bank, and we give those people furniture when they move into those homes and they don't have access to public funds, basically.
Do you have any?
Thanks.
Do you happen to have any 1970s era toys?
People ask me a lot of very specific questions about the stuff that we
I was
have.
thinking in particular of Airfix models, which I used to make a lot of in the 1970s.
Possibly, but I couldn't say definitively. But you can come in and see us Wednesday to Saturday, 12 till 5. Pop in.
Yeah. Have you got any toys at all? Have you got a toy section?
Yeah. We've got we've got the kids' toy section, and then there's sort of like the man-child section.
Man-child.
Yeah.
Is that a reference to me, Natalie?
No. It's reference to a lot of the men that come in the shop.
Okay. But, what is a man-child?
Margot, do you want to take that one? No. What I mean is, the collectors, the people that are, recycle, and we like, for example, we were given a cassette player the other day, and if I brought that cassette player out, Cruz probably wouldn't even know what it is.
Do you know what a cassette player is?
Have you seen a cassette player before?
Okay, we can even get a picture of it on the screen, so you can have a look.
I've got a real one.
Do you sell pens with them so that you can wind up the cassettes when they
Stop trying to wind us up.
We've got no cassettes to play in it, so that could be a shout out to the people that are listening. I would love to see if somebody could give us an actual cassette that we could put inside the cassette player.
I have one.
You want to mix?
Yeah, to see if we can get it working.
Wow.
You want a mixed tape?
A mixed tape.
Well, it costs £35 for a set of 10 cassettes.
Apparently,
okay, good.
on the news the other day, there was a cassette tape of a John Lennon recording that was up for auction. Do you know how much it sold for?
35,000.
Something like
I mean, was it an original cassette recording?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Some students in, I think, Denmark had done a kind of mini interview with John Lennon for their student magazine. And he actually recorded a song for them that's never been heard in public before. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or radio
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
But do you think we're better off for having gotten rid of cassettes? Do you think the way that we transfer music now, and is it really saving the environment more?
Well, what? Yeah, I mean, you don't chuck away your cassette, so you're not a good person. But I'm going to go to some of the older people that may have had cassette. I've thrown away all.
What are you talking about? I threw away my
You threw away your cassettes. I had Nana Cherry Raw Like Sushi. Just chucked it in the bin, got the vinyl instead. But anyway, go Justin. Yeah.
Yeah, I threw away my cassettes. I seem to spend most of the 1980s with a pencil trying to spool it back onto the cassette, and it was an absolute pain. Sometimes you were taking it apart, and it was all
it was all kind of exploded.
It was a nightmare.
So you've just got rid of your cassettes.
Yeah, I'd done with it. Yeah.
Okay.
Mine are probably still around somewhere. I'm going to dig them out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you have a player for them here?
No,
Well,
no.
then what are you going to do with them then?
I'm gonna have to get a player, aren't I?
I've actually got a
Take
cassette.
your-
I've actually got a cassette player somewhere in the studio. I've got pretty much everything somewhere in the studio.
There are my friend who was in a band with me. He transferred because we had a lot of people used to bring cassettes into our gigs, and at the back of the hall, and record the whole thing, and that's really good. I mean, like a bootleg.
Yeah.
And you can't get a bootleg CD now. You can't get the original bootleg of going to a concert, that kind of thing. Not in that sense, but yeah, they transferred them onto his computer somehow. Beyond the electricity.
Okay, so you can actually upgrade, but I mean, I think there's a question about where are we going to keep on like changing our media, and you know, like we've got all of this recorded on hard disk. Is that, are we going to end up throwing out those hard disks?
Well,
Rick, yeah.
If you have a hard disk or a DVD, and you have the option of going to your cupboard, getting your DVD, putting it into your DVD player, and pressing play. And the option is to just stream it. You just stream it, don't you? You can't be bothered going to the cupboard.
How much do people think about how much they're helping the environment with that process, though? That's what I'm interested in, because I guess in some respects, I like touching and feeling, and you know, like when people read ebooks, I don't really get that. I don't understand how someone can read a book on a screen, for example. However, when it comes to cassettes, DVDs, CDs, there is something about the fact that when you haven't got that production and that wastage that's going through the system anymore. Do they think like that? I don't know.
I have to say, I like to see myself as somewhat of a recycler. That never crossed my mind. I'd also like to ask you about vinyl, because in the days of they're making a comeback, but in the days when vinyl was everything, to get buying an LP was you bought the whole package. You opened it up, it was like a book. You bought Let It Be by the Beatles. You've got photographs. You've got all that kind of thing.
It's funny, we were donated some very interesting vinyls today, exactly the type that you were speaking about. I might quickly go and run and get one to give you an example and show it to you, but big thick.
If you do it at the end, it will be the vinyl countdown.
Oh God, Mike,
it is a second-hand September after all.
That was a second-hand joke, wasn't it?
But yeah, as you say, I think that vinyls sit in history as being vintage now. I think that there's something different about them, and people just have them decorative purposes.
So it's almost like an object rather than. I mean, personally, I have to say myself, I've got loads of records on vinyl, but I never play them. I just play it on YouTube instead. As you say, it's a lot quicker than to flick through all this dusty old junk and then clean it up, put it
Why
on.
keep them then?
That's a good question. Good question. Go on, Justin.
As regards the vinyl digital debate,
I'm going to come to you in a second, please. Yes.
I'm more of a cinema person, and I feel the same way about film versus digital. I really miss film. Yeah. I miss going to the cinema and seeing a film, a celluloid projection.
Right. Does it make any difference whether it's digital?
To me it does, yeah. But a young person today has never seen a film projected by celluloid, and so it makes no difference to them. But I noticed the difference immediately.
Do you know what we're talking about, Cruz? Do you know what celluloid is? Okay, you might have to explain what celluloid is.
You may have seen those old film projectors, Cruz, with those big wheels with the film on, and it goes through the projector, the black film with the little sprockets down the side. And that's film, celluloid film, as opposed to a digital projector, which is all just on a computer chip. And I think it looks very different. And when I notice the difference immediately when I'm in the cinema.
What is the difference?
Film, it's like vinyl versus digital. There's a warmth to film and vinyl.
Right.
A warmth.
So in effect, it actually saves on the cinema heating bills and the environment in that sense.
No, Mikey, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, there's an organic field aesthetic to it.
Yeah.
It's more natural. It's not got sharp edges.
Right.
It's analog.
Okay.
It's got the whole spectrum.
Okay.
It's vinyl for film.
Come and get involved in this. We're talking at the moment about vinyl versus digital. Have you got a whole load of digital? Some people don't even know what all these old formats are. And are the new formats going to get chucked away as well? We've got Ian, we've got Justin, we've got Cruz, we've got Natalie, we've got Emerson, we've got Zaki, and we've got Margot that wants to say something. That's where we are right now. Go on, Margot.
I wanted to a little bit go back to the charity shop thing.
Yeah.
But we obviously can talk about vinyls, but I'm just interested in this because when I was growing up, there was like a bit of a shame to go and shop in charity shop. So I think for a long time, I just couldn't do it. I just felt like it's some kind of a diss. And then when my dad lost his job, and then I remember him saying like, "Oh, look, maybe you could go and pick something from the charity shop." And I remember going like, "Are you kidding me? Not possible." You know, as a teenager, you're a bit like that.
Yeah, you were reluctant. I mean, are teenagers now like that? Zaki, do you, what's that? I know he's actually 20, I think now, but yeah. But just, I just want to cast your mind back before your last birthday. Were you ashamed to go into a charity shop back then?
I mean, not really. I mean, sometimes every now and again, I have seen like, not really. I've seen shows like Storage Hunters, and there's shows that Mend It for Money, that kind of thing.
Right. Okay.
Make Nothing and sell for so these like DIY people, they'd find junk like in skips, like let's say an old wooden chair. They just store it and then they'd make some money on it. So that kind of thing. But I haven't really been ashamed of charity shops because one, it kind of helps, save the earth and that, and it's cheap. I mean, who doesn't love a bargain nowadays?
Okay.
I mean, money is tight nowadays because the whole pandemic thing, but and Petrolgate, but
Petrolgate. Well, that's another thing. Can we weave this into secondhand? We've got a new face over here, so we're just going to get your name. We've got Ian to your left and Justin to your right. What's your name?
Hello, everyone. I'm Cameron.
Cameron, welcome. We've got Cruz, we've got Natalie, we've got Emerson, we've got Zaki, we've got Margot and Mikey. Cruz wanted to say something, but just whenever you're ready, just chime in. Welcome to the Talkaoke. At the moment, we're sort of talking about, what we're talking about, the charity shop shame, plus Zaki's just thrown in Petrolgate. But anyway, Cruz, what did you want to say?
When Natalie said, why do you keep them?
Keep the records? Yeah.
Maybe because in case your laptop, your TV, or your phone breaks. Then
Okay. So it is actually worth saving all those old records in case your current media player breaks. Do come and join us if you'd like to. This is Talkaoke. There's a vaguely interested person there, but Emerson, were you going to say something?
Yeah, just to add to Cruz's point, with like analog and digital, they're two very different things, but I feel like this is a generation now where they're actually finding ways to use analog, and merge it into digital. If you look at the like early hip hop era, there were people like Grandmaster Flash that was taking records and taking the beats off of certain records and mixing them in with other records. So he was kind of on the verge of like developing the technology from early, but now it's like digital. Like if I wanted to get an old record and sample something, I can get the original record and sample that in straight into a computer. So it's like there's always a way that you can revamp something, bring something right back, and
so in a way it's not actually lost. It's just kind of part of that fabric gets sucked back into
even
it.
It's amazing that Cruz could know even just a brief idea of what certain analog things are because he's in an era of everything being digital. But because everything does get revamped and used again in a way, or maybe might be pushed through like digital or thing, he might have a little idea. Or even for me, I was born in 1996, so it's like I have an idea of what these things are, and I know that they can be used for a purpose. There's a purpose for them. So even though things have taken them out, technology is developed, you could always still revert back to it and get greater ideas.
There was also a point from Justin that's you were saying some of these older technologies are kind of warmer somehow, but not warmer in terms of heat, warmer in terms of something else.
I meant organic.
Yeah.
There's not a sharpness because you've got the whole spectrum. You haven't got digital ones and noughts, just defined.
It's a bit too black and white.
Yeah, it's black and white. There's no grey.
Yeah.
If you watch like a Disney movie that came out on VHS in the 70s or something, it's completely different.
Disney wasn't very big in the 70s, but I know what you mean. And
well, but Snow White and things like that were made in
that's
the
1939.
Well, yeah, but we're brought out, in the 80s, whatever. But yeah.
Back when I think by 70s, Natalie really means ancient history.
No, how old do you think I am? Like,
it's interesting that you mentioned Snow White because that was the very first full-length Disney feature film.
Yeah.
And as I see it, it's never been bettered. It is the best one.
I agree.
The first one is the best one. How can that be? Surely they developed after that, but I think Snow White is
Why is Snow White the best?
It's never been bettered, I don't think.
Do you mean the actual movie itself, or do you mean the quality and the way that it presents?
I wouldn't say movie because that's an American term. I would say film.
Well, it's an American movie, isn't it?
Yes, but we're British, Mikey. So
I've got all my new sound effects that are not on this computer.
It's good when they remaster them, Emerson. I think that's good. Yeah. It's lovely to see it fresh and because film does degrade over time.
Okay, so the first Disney movie was the best. That's what we're talking about right now. Come and get involved in this. 5 minutes. I know you're doing cruise collection here, but have you got any vinyls in your attic or in your back storage room? Yeah. You used to do the scratching. Yeah. Okay. So that's what we're talking about now. We're talking about all the cassettes. We're talking about the vinyls. Sorry, I meant that. Yeah.
Onto cassettes.
Yeah. So you record straight onto cassette rather than recording onto a hard disk. Is it warm? Is it nicer in some way? That's one of the. Is it more real, more physical?
More real, I think so.
Yeah.
And even when things switched over, it's like,
yeah.
They don't want to use them.
Yeah.
It's a digital, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also,
okay.
I don't think we can open them.
So we're talking about floppy disks. We're talking about all these old media that going in. Yeah.
Music. One of the first amplifiers I had was a Vox AC30.
Yeah.
Which was what the Beatles used.
Right.
And that was basically made up of valves, things like that, and it gave a very warm sound. The sound was, and if you was to move to solid state.
Hang on, Ian. We need to get a final thought from Cruz before we go.
One last thought.
Yeah, give us a final thought. We'll hold the thing about the valves and the amplifiers. What's your final thought, Cruz? Could be anything. It's what you're thinking now. Have you enjoyed the conversation? I'm not sure. Okay, we'll come back and tell us next time. Thanks for getting involved. See you later. So back to the valves. Back to the valves. Up to you. Whatever you're comfortable with. Go on in, you are halfway through the amplifiers and the valves, the Beatles.
We used AC30s, which were the ones used by the Beatles.
Yeah.
And groups like the Birds, and they gave a distinctive sound. A lot of groups moved to solid state, the heavy metal sort of stuff, which was like more kerrang, to use the phrase, as opposed to melodic.
Right.
So there's a depth in the sound there.
Right.
That's, I also wanted to say back to mono.
Back to mono. Well, we're running mono here. We've got a new face here potentially. Welcome. Let's just get some names in. We've got Ian, we've got Cameron, we've got Justin, we've got Natalie and Emerson. Tell us your name. Lauru. No, come on, let me get this right. Laulu. Okay, right. Okay, you just got Go a bit slower for me. And we've got Zaki over here. I'm Mikey. And then we're talking about the vinyl, and we're talking about like the film. Justin's come out with this thing that Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, best Disney film ever made in 1939. Are we actually moving forward with all these new formats? These, everything's a podcast now. It's all recorded on hard disks.
Are you judging me? I was listening to a podcast.
You're judging. What were you listening to?
What's it called? Do you know? How do I describe it? Okay.
Whoa, not that close. Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The 90s baby show. Any 90s baby show?
The what?
A couple of guys. 90s baby show. Yeah.
90s baby show.
Yeah,
no, never heard of it.
What's it about?
I get 90s baby, so they just born in the 90s talking about pop, like culture
exactly.
and stuff.
Okay, and what is it about?
Everything.
Everything. It's just like
it just
like
the same way I heard.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
From a 90s babies.
Okay.
Yes. Nostalgia.
What generation is that?
Just Gen X.
Generation X.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's maybe go around and get a generation like letter from everybody. What generation are you? What letter generation are you?
I think I'm the new age one. I'm not too sure.
You're beyond that. So you're X.
You're millennial.
Yeah, you're a millennial. You're Generation X. What are you, Emerson? I have no idea. I don't know. It's not much.
96.
I don't know. We'll have to look this up.
I'm technically, by book definition, a millennial, but I'm far from a millennial.
Right. Okay. Why?
I mean, I don't really like titles and names. I think they judge people in a box.
Okay.
But
this is fun.
But it's fun judging people.
Yeah.
But I feel like the sense that you give the title millennial is very much detached and not really tuned into what's kind of.
Okay, so you think millennials kind of got a bad rep?
Oh. Yeah.
Okay. Justin?
I don't agree with you there, Natalie. I'm 60s, so I'm Generation X. I mean, that term.
You're Generation X.
That term has never really.
That should be a boomer. That should be a boomer.
Okay, we're Generation. We got a letter, but we never really used the name. But my point really is that I think it is useful because certain age groups have gone through certain cultural phenomena together.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Like for millennials, a big thing for their childhood was Harry Potter. And it was never a thing for me. For my generation, it was Star Wars. And you've all gone through that together, and it's a commonality that you share.
So what was it for you?
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Yeah,
okay.
Star Wars, and for you, it's
The
Star Wars.
definition of millennial and some of the attributes that are attached to millennials, they're not positive.
No.
So from that perspective,
What is negative about
lazy?
Entitled.
Don't really understand hard work. Those kinds of things of attachment.
Don't forget Paul. Don't forget Paul.
It's boring there.
The poor. Okay. So there's a lot of bad.
Oh no,
okay.
because the reason is they're not transferring the wealth. They're hoarding the houses, so the wealth transfer gaps.
True. That's true.
But maybe it's up to people of our generation, whichever generations we share here, to redefine what that name means a little bit. Maybe we make millennial mean something a little bit different.
Yeah, definitely. Because
Okay.
millennials have a new age way of thinking as well. So
I mean, we never went round, so we never found out what Cameron. I mean,
I have no idea what generation I'm supposed to belong to. 94.
Okay.
Are you a millennial?
Millennial. I'm a millennial.
Okay,
I'd love to be millennial.
Okay, you're millennial. Okay, I'm just going to do it.
I'm been told I'm a solid baby boomer.
Yes.
What's solid about it?
Which, because I'm an old git. Also, I'd like to say that I would never attribute a whole generation of laziness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that is an insult.
But is that really how people think of the millennials or whatever?
I think we work smarter than harder.
Okay.
I'll be honest. I think we work smarter.
It's not just about hard work. Okay.
Well, there is something in that because my generation was still working in the big factories.
Yeah.
You know, you had the Poolds, you had the, you know, the steelworks, the miners, that they were still going. Nowadays, you've got the entrepreneur thing, and you've got the computer ability to make your own way in that. And with me, I mean, when I got a cassette recorder for my birthday, that was the height of technology. You know, I could actually record my own songs on it. Yeah. The thing about, I think you're totally right about other generations being smarter, because you've had to be smarter. You know, I was more of a cart horse myself.
Okay, Justin, come on.
Ian, I do envy the baby boomer generation in many ways, because I've spent my life regretting the fact that I wasn't there in the swinging 60s and Woodstock and all that stuff. I think you were very lucky to have had all that. And also the sex scandal. What was that? Perfumery. That was all very exciting. Very exciting time.
A lot of excitement. Surely we've got that kind of excitement now. Similar things going on.
But we also had the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Okay.
Always good for that.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, where do we want to go with this? We're talking about, are the generations fairly represented? You know, have the baby boomers kind of had it better than the current crop? Is it just more about the age that people are than, you know, what period of time they kind of were that age? I don't know. What do people think? Margot, grab the mic. You can grab this one.
What about people who are of certain age, but then, like, I'm thinking particularly about young people, but you say they've got like mature personas, like really, you know, like an old person's, an older person's thing. I always wondered what's behind that. What is it that people are actually saying when they say, "Oh, you look like
people say that to you?"
Yeah, old
Yeah.
soul.
Do people
What
say
does
that
that
to you?
mean? No. I don't know why.
I think it's because, I mean, for instance, when I was younger, my sister used to wear party dresses till she was like 16.
Yeah.
You know, and these were little girls' kind of clothing. Nowadays, you get the sexualization of children growing up very early. You know, they're not made to wear, but you get younger people wearing clothes that are perhaps more adult. They're more aware of their circumstances. People talk about their bills. I didn't know what my rent was with my mum and dad. They would never sit down and say, "Hard times ahead, Ian, I'm sorry." You know, as long as we've got a meal on the table, that's all we needed to know. And I think children nowadays, there's too much pressure put on them from an early age to kind of be aware of it. Don't have a child in the child.
Could I just add to that as well? I feel like the exposure, what we've seen as from kids, I think like it would take a lifetime for somebody to see a lot of things. But now we could just go on Google. Like I don't need to ask my dad or my mom, "Yo, what does that mean?" Nah. Hello,
Does that
Google,
mean you learn faster?
I think so. I think so. Like knowledge is more. We don't need to get.
You've got knowledge at your fingertips.
Yeah, kind of thing.
Yeah,
so,
go on, Zaki. What are you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna quickly say, knowledge is power, and because of recently all these technological advancements, I mean, you know, what was it 2008 or 2007? The first iPhone came out, and look at them now. It's like so powerful, and things like that. You got powerful apps like TikTok that know what our brain is thinking. Like it's crazy. Like they just you just know what you're doing. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
it's scary.
But I've heard this kind of point that if we talk about the millennial, that's where it began. Where the conversations come up from is that overload of information and having so much accessibility is what brings those negative like perceptions to millennials, because it's like anyone can go online and say, "Oh, I can be a YouTuber that does this, and I can be this," and there's this sense of getting lost because there's so many messages.
So it's like information. It's the opposite.
It's the opposite. You know. Some people might see a video of, you know, I don't know, someone skateboarding and think that's what I want to do, that's my purpose, I want to do it. But then there's others that live around lots of different things because there's so many options out there as well, do you know? So I think I actually think it's a difficult time for people of that generation because they're not as rooted in some of the traditional things that, you know, your parents were born in the 60s or the 50s that you might have learned, you know? So I think it is difficult for them as well, definitely. Okay. And I do love millennials for things like wanting to change the world and get involved with environmental issues and climate change and that nature. I think that's important.
So actually, they're a bit more clued up on things like the environment and stuff like that. Go on, Cameron. Yeah.
Maybe just to add to that, it seems like technology is kind of amazing because it gives, like you say, Zaki, knowledge is power. It gives access to information to more people, which is incredible. It means that many more people than before can see, that it's possible to be a skateboarder and to dream of that. I guess the flip side is that technology is meaning that, more and more people have got control of information. We're able to be misled a little bit more easily.
Are we misled
people
a little
are
bit?
making a hell of a lot of money off of people's data. It's kind of terrifying seeing through the pandemic, people like Jeff Bezos just accumulating more and more wealth.
Something I'd like to point out.
Yeah.
There's some negative things kind of like attached to the now. I think they've always been there. What the internet just does is there's always been earthquakes. There's always been. I'm not denying climate change or anything, but there's always been these things. But what just happens now is your iPhone just brings it to you.
Yeah.
And then so there's that.
I mean, is it the case that people have been misled more easily? I don't know who said that.
Oh,
Was
absolutely.
it? You think so? Yeah.
Do you know it is like even nowadays, like I could not tell you the last time I watched the news. If you get what I'm saying, like the news was something like my dad wake up in the morning, slap on the news, make his coffee, like they got to a certain point where I didn't even come downstairs. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Kind of thing. It's like I already know that's happened. Like before your news has even reported it to you, I kind of know what's going on. I know what are
your sources?
But then it's like
it's everywhere.
It's everywhere though. Like I wake up, it's on Instagram, it's on Twitter, it's on this. So like the moment it's happening, somebody's already taking a video.
It's almost like a sort of global brain that reacts and responds.
And it could be grassroots, right? People, around big events that have happened in the last couple of years, there's been a lot of stuff on Instagram about people informing each other and learning from each other, which has been, really powerful to see. It's also leads to people maybe spreading falsehoods as well, right?
But then at the same time, I guess, like you said, you had that sense of the news. I mean, in my grandmother's house, the news was on at 6 o'clock religiously, right? Like, silence in the house. And it's a lot easier to dictate the narrative of a large amount of people in that time when everyone was watching like BBC, the same news, again and again, than it is, I guess, now when there's lots of news mediums that people can take their opinions from. So.
Do you think it makes us less of a sheep? Sorry.
Less sheep. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to hold that because I think Ian wanted to come in.
Oh, just a little comment. They used to call the BBC auntie.
That's a good saying.
And the thing about that is, it just gives you the vision of your nice auntie sitting there saying, "Well, this has happened today. Don't worry about it. It's okay." Tomorrow, just watch out for George. Have a good night.
I feel like maybe that might be one reason. The millenniums are a bit. Who's that?
We are online as well. We've got our first online participant. Say hello, Georgia, just so we can see you on the screen. Say hello. Oh, you're very quiet. I don't know what's going on there. Hang on, let me just turn you up on this one. Hello, hello. I know. I don't. Anyway, we'll work that out in a minute.
A lot of forehead.
We're going over to our live report.
Well, this is what we're saying. We're getting rid of the BBC, and now we've got this. Although I'm not quite sure why it's not working after we've done all of our sound testing. Talk to us again, Georgia.
She might be on mute.
I think join audio. You have to go to bottom left, see join audio.
No, she is on audio.
No, you need to.
No, because we're on audio from a different thing. Rick, have a look at that from your side. See if you've got something coming through there. You might need to select Scarlett on the audio track, Rick. On your one. It's on Scarlett. Okay, because I've got nothing coming through. Do it.
Can you hear me now? It's because I got my headphones in, that's why. Okay.
Right up now, so you're achingly loud. What we? Okay. Okay, it was your end. It was your end. Fuse.
Yeah. I had my headphones in, but I'll just have my headphones out for a bit. I'll dip in and out. How are you doing?
We're just talking about how you used to have this single narrative of the news, and now it's kind of come to this point where everyone's Instagramming. Emerson was saying, something's happened before it goes on the news. because you see it on Instagram.
Yeah.
Everything else, Facebook, you see it. And that's
It's true.
And we're doing our own news as well, except this is more of a sort of after news discussion.
I tend to hear my news from Instagram and Facebook, which is really bad. So.
Why is it bad?
Because I should probably make an effort to read about the news, but
okay.
I don't.
It's easier in a way. We just get it through Instagram. We've got a new hang on. We've got a new face over here. So we've got Georgia online. We've got Ian. We've got Cameron. We've got Justin. Tell us your name.
My name.
Yeah.
My name's Lucy.
Lucy, welcome.
Welcome.
Hi. Hope you heard that little introduction. My name's Michael, and it is. I'm going to try and get this right. Alalu, and we've got Zaki, and we've got Margot, and as I said, my name's Mikey. Wrong button. And we're sort of talking about. It all started off with the vinyl and the analog and the film, the celluloid film, and then we were sort of talking about the old school media, and now we're sort of like, well, that's moved on, and now everything's happening on Instagram, and it's on, you know, and are we getting more information? Are we like a global brain? Are we actually more clued up? It was actually about the different generations. Are today's generation more clued up? Go on, Zaki.
Talking about news, I heard actually that a judge actually cancelled Britney Spears' father's conservatorship over time. So great.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
She finally has one word, freedom for her. So
okay.
How many years? What, 10 years? Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's for a music career. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So good on Britney Spears. Justin, you got a point there about that?
Yeah, I found that news. I found the law in the US, and the father had to actually apply to have the conservatorship removed. He couldn't say, I don't want it anymore. He had to apply to the court. Right. I find that their laws there are bizarre. You know, you'd never get that here, would you?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird world.
I don't know. It's a strange one. I mean, anyone else? Any other reaction to the Britney Spears news? We're talking about Britney Spears.
She can finally live her life, I guess.
She can live her life. I mean,
I found it funny that
yeah,
her dad, whoever it was described as toxic.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, where are we going to go with this conversation? Do we want to go Britney Spears?
Can I take you back?
What's that? What is that? Hello? Yeah.
Oh no, I was just going to say, can I take you back a bit?
Yeah.
So this is a gentrified area, and what happens when gentrification happens is places lose their culture. So it's okay that I'm shocked to see this here. Yes, it's okay.
We have been here for like 6 years.
Really?
So, yeah. Yeah. But
get groceries.
are we now the symbol of gentrification? Is that what you're saying? Are we the symbol of gentrification?
Yeah, let's take on gentrification.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I'm an architect. So.
Okay. Well, I mean, what do you think about it? Okay.
I don't think it's a bad thing, you know.
Yeah. Go on, Emerson.
Okay.
Let's hear
No,
your
do you know
side.
why? Do you know
Yeah,
why?
come on. Yeah.
Do you know why? Yeah. The only reason I'm saying that is because I believe that nothing stays the same and everything has to develop. If it doesn't develop, then what's the point of keeping something there? Like, what's the point of I mean, there's things that you don't need. Like, you don't need to.
Yeah.
How can I say it? Like, back in the day, they used to make spring beds, yeah. But now they got memory foam beds. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, that's background music, but
yeah, I know a little bit about it. It's another sound effect.
But
back in the day, used to make what? Because I didn't hear from the car.
Yeah, so they used to make like spring beds. Now they make mattress foam or whatever beds. Like memory foam. Sorry. Yeah. So everything has a development. Like obviously, I know that it's a thing where I don't feel they've got gentrification entirely right because they have to rise the value of the properties that come around. They go up, innit? But if it was a thing where they didn't actually go up, but they did develop it, and the people that still lived in the area could, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, but then what it does is it brings more people of different cultures to that area.
So you think, by and large, it's positive. They haven't quite got the message or the formula right.
I feel like they haven't got it right. I'm not saying that's totally thing.
Okay, well, hang on a sec. We're going to come back to you in a second, but you have I just want to bring Georgia in as she is our only online participant. People watching on Facebook, do join us online. If you want to find out how, just message us. Georgia, go on. What are you going to say?
Oh, I think it was from earlier. I was just going to say that I didn't know that news about Britney Spears, and that's an example of me not knowing the news. And like now I've only just found out, and I've not been following it. So, but I did like the analogy of gentrification being compared to mattresses. I thought that was a good joke. Well, not joke, but
as far as you're concerned,
it was a good.
Is it like a mattress as far as you're concerned?
Gentrification. I can see the comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah, gentrification is such a difficult topic though, because bits of it are good and bits of it are not good. Like, but I don't know. It's difficult.
Emerson was saying, hello, coming back into this and sort of like.
No, it's fine. I think we kind of solved it. What you described is utopia. That's how to do it. Yeah. And that's no longer gentrification. You come in with the bulldozers, you move everyone out. Yeah. But once you find a way to bring them back into society, that's the right way.
Okay, so you think it's a bit idealistic? What Emerson's saying?
I mean, it's been done. The cities, I can think of some cities that have done it right, but it's just the way once developers, when private money comes in, that's the end. Yeah. The culture goes, the people go.
Okay, so private money equals cultural
capitalism, basically.
Okay, I'm going to come over to Justin. You got your hand up.
I was just wondering how you, Mikey, and Margot feel about the suggestion that you are part of gentrification.
That was not a suggestion. I was saying it's okay to be shocked that this is here in a gentrified area, because most gentrified areas lose their culture. And this is a bit cultural, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. So you're saying
I was shocked to see
this is the exception that proves the rule. Yeah. Yeah. So you
they kind of changed everything. Sorry, they kind of changed everything around then. The culture's kind of gone a bit.
Gone a bit flat.
There's nothing like this here. Nothing. I get it.
Okay, let's bring in Margot on this one.
I feel like it's really not up to us where we end up with our stuff. Like, because that's why I'm interested maybe in the question of what is gentrification? What does it look like? Because like I sometimes go and have a fancy coffee, but essentially I'm a Polish migrant with no savings. Do you know what I mean? So like
Can I add one word? Yeah. Gentrification is sterilization.
Sterilization.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, what do other people think about this?
But I mean, I feel like as an individual person who just has to live somewhere that's affordable, somewhere that, we've been offered the studio at a really reasonable price as artists, currently.
I'm not sure if I made myself clear. I was giving a thumbs up to this.
Okay. All right. But what is gentrification? I wanted to clarify.
Okay,
like, what is sterilization?
Canary Wharf now. Yeah. I mean, do I need to go further? You go to Canary Wharf, there's no telling of what used to be. There's nothing that hints, this is what used to be here.
Yeah.
There's just, these big buildings. Flats.
And nothing cultural.
Yeah. Money
okay. I mean, this is an interesting topic.